Hello, welcome to a serious video tutorial for the first time in a long time. The purpose of this video is to highlight the Bad Idea 18214 module in a practical studio setting. Who would have thought I made something useful? I'm going to show you how to use it. So, before I show you how to use it, I want to give you a kind of brief overview of what's happening here in this tiny fucking closet that I call a studio. I've got Ableton set up over here. Ableton goes into this audio interface over here. The audio interface is tied to the patch bay. The patch bay is tied to all this other shit. So in this patch bay, I've got 8 channels over here on this snake that are reserved for 8 channels over here on the patch bay. Now the thing about Bad Idea 18214 is it's passive, which means it can go in both directions. So I use the patch bay over here in this module to pass control voltage and audio and other stuff back and forth between my modular system, my computer, and pedals and stuff. Wow, that sounds really useful, doesn't it? It's almost like I made this for a specific reason. So, that being said, I've got some shitty breakbeats here coming out of Ableton, and I'm going to run those into the RML Jekyll and Hyde box over here, which is 2 separate filters that can be used as separate channels. I'm going to take the audio from that, send it to my modular synth, and from the modular synth, I'm going to generate 2 envelopes from maths from that audio. And then I'm going to use those envelopes to control the filter cutoff from this box, so it works in a similar way to an auto wah. So I guess first what I'll do is I'll play you the audio, and then I'll explain the routing. So, here we go. Okay, so that was dumb. Let's explain how it works. Okay, so here's the routing. So, I'm using Ableton's external audio effect here, and what it's doing is it's creating a loop. So the audio is going to come out of the computer, go through all my hardware and all this shit, and then back into the computer. So, I'm just going to talk about one of these loops because it's basically the same thing happening twice, and I don't want to confuse you. So, the first one comes out of audio 3 on my interface. So that's tied to this on my patch bay. And I'm taking the output from my computer and plugging it into 18214. So it goes out of the back of my patch bay, up this 8-channel snake, into my modular system. Out of this cable right here. The audio comes out of that, out of Bad Idea 18214. Into a mult, which splits the signal into 2 locations. The first location goes into maths, so it takes the audio from my computer and it creates an envelope that I can use to control shit. Okay? And then the audio goes back into Bad Idea 18214. Okay? And we'll explain why in a second. So I have control voltage coming from maths, from the incoming audio, and the audio itself going back into Bad Idea 18214. So then that comes back down the snake here into my patch bay. The audio comes out of Bad Idea 18214 and through all this wiring and crap goes into the box. And the control voltage from maths goes out, down Bad Idea 18214 and into the control voltage input on Jekyll and Hyde. So that same thing is happening twice. That's why you see all these cables here. But, you know, if you've got a studio and you've got a laptop with Ableton, and you've got an interface that's got a bunch of direct outs and a bunch of inputs, and you've got a patch bay, and you've got a modular system, and some cheap snakes, this is a really efficient solution for you to always have shit patched up and be able to pass signal in and out all over the place. And the best thing is, this doesn't pull any power. It's totally passive. So, you know, it doesn't even have to be in your rack. You could even plug it into a cardboard box or wherever the fuck. You could have it just laying on your desk or something. But, you know, this is the cheapest and easiest way for you to pass signals everywhere, have really clean, tidy cabling, and have the ability to pass anything anywhere without ever leaving your patch bay. You won't need any special cables or anything, no 1/8 to 1/4 adapters, none of that shit. So I guess I'll play you out now with some shitty breakbeats.